But Rod is an ambitious type. He has the notion that with this many small fish in the wash, there may be some bigger hunters lurking around the edges. It only takes a few minutes for him to prove his point, and then he's locked in and working hard against something with a lot of pulling power. He has his work cut out for him here, with very shallow water under the boat and a strong fish that wants to bury its head in the bottom. But Rod is an old hand at putting the stoppers on, and in no time at all, he traces his own fish to give me an easy gaff shot. That's a nice king and a pretty good effort in wild water like this, especially when you consider that Rod managed to break a bone in his foot during the fight. As a matter of fact, it wasn't until the fish stopped biting that Rod found time to get upset about his foot. He was more concerned about the fact that he'd almost lost the fish when it managed to reach the bottom and fray his line. It was hard to believe that a spot could change so much overnight. The groundswell had really done the job, and the bite was red hot. Almost every cast produced a hookup. A salmon, tailor, bonito, snapper and trevally. All wonderful sport on light tackle. Another keeper comes into the boat, but when you fish with a mate like Harrison, a keeper is only a keeper if you keep an eye on it. You only need to watch a bird fly by to have your fish back in the water on an oversized bait hook, and once it's back there, it's gone in no time flat. Harrison is a big, strong boy, and there's nothing the old Rodney likes better than to pull hard on a big, strong fish. He meets muscle with muscle, and even on days when you don't have the handicap of a broken foot, it's tough keeping a king out of the bottom in rough water like this. Rod obviously enjoys every minute of it. Harrison is one of the better fishermen I know, and he shows some of his class here when the fish bolts as he takes the trace. He reacts so quickly, the rod doesn't even touch the side of the boat, and that king is soon on his way back to the gaff again. Another good capture for Rod, and it makes the point that if you want to catch big fish, it pays to put those live baits out, regardless of the depth of water you happen to be fishing. I failed to take a big fish that day, and I couldn't even catch one back at the ramp. But there's always another day, and there's no way I'll share those snapper with Harrison. Shell Harbour is Rod Harrison's home ground, and with a little more light tackle fishing in mind, we zeroed in on a group of feeding birds. This time, it was Rod's turn to have a little trouble catching hold of a fish. We like to keep these little bonito for snapper bait and burley. They're good fun to catch on light tackle too. We'd worked hard for fish at Bateman's Bay, and today we had it in mind to take it easy and enjoy a little prospecting. On these occasions, we sometimes troll around until we locate fish, and then we usually stop the boat and cast to them with spinning tackle. We take a lot of care in rigging, because you never can tell when something big is going to climb onto a lure aimed at a small fish. Not long after we started our search, Rod spotted some activity out to sea. How's that for a rippler? A solid school of big baitfish boiling along right at the surface. We tried dropping lures deep under the school and scored hookups right away. These fish were cow and young, and the school was packed solid so deep it proved impossible to get a lure near them without jagging a fish. The usual scene here is to bridle rig one of the fish as a live bait and then slow troll it back around the school, hoping for a tuna or marlin. But we had plans for a more relaxed style of fishing and left the bait fish for another day. A little further along, we got a nice readout on the sounder. Two solid schools of fish hanging over a small peak looked good enough to justify a little effort. The anchor went down to hold us in position to fish back to the reef, and the first bait over the side found a taker. That taker turned out to be Basil the barracuda, a fish we normally greet with something less than enthusiasm. You don't mess with Basil's teeth if you can help it, and it's a good idea to keep your fingers out of his gills, which are also full of teeth. Right, Rod? That was the last time either of us were going to put our hands in the water with those fish, for in the incredible hour that followed, anything they could see, they ate. Rod tried his hand at a little fresh air fishing and soon had Cooter jumping for the lure. Any other time, you'd frighten fish away doing this, but it just turned this school right on. When you have a bite as hot as this going on, you soon forget prejudice and you make the most of it. Basil and his relatives were hot to trot, and we were in the right frame of mind to accommodate them. How about that? Just watch these fish fly. It could be a long time before you see anything like it again. We fished lures without hooks, and we fished hooks without lures or bait. It made no difference either way. Those fish just went right on biting anything that hit the water. Rod thought he saw the shadow of a larger fish down deep. He tossed out a small lure we used for tuna, and something ate it. Check the expression on his face. This is no barracuda. This time, Rod has a broken finger. He's fishing 4-pound line, and for the next 20 minutes, that hand is going to do a lot of work. It would take a plaster cast from head to foot to stop Harrison from fishing and enjoying it. It soon becomes obvious that we are going to have to move with this fish to give Rod a chance on the ultralight line. With the anchor up, we have a better chance to lead him away from the reef towards deeper water. A little man-made lubrication minimises the risk of a friction burn-off at the spool. The fish hangs tough, and again, it's a question of how much pressure is enough and how much is too much for the light line. When he eventually comes alongside, I manage to botch a simple gaff shot and Rod has to start all over again. The point of the gaff hook had been bent over somewhere along the way, and after a few strokes with the file, we're ready to try again. It makes all the difference when you have a point on the gaff, and Rod has another nice light tackle capture to his credit. My fishing friends and I wander up and down our coastline throughout the year, and there's no end of places to explore. We are blessed with an abundance of fish and great fishing spots, and if we don't find action in one spot, we wander on to the next. Light, seaworthy boats like this, coupled with high-powered motors, put the world of offshore sport fishing within the reach of everybody. The family car gets you to the ramp, and good fishing is rarely far away. You can go for a day, a weekend, or jump in boots and all and make it a way of life. The sea, the boats and the road are there to be used. You can only blame yourself if you miss that offshore sport fishing experience.